Good afternoon, YouTube friends. This is Jim. Thanks for visiting my channel, Off-Grid Living with the Bennetts. Well, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful weather out there. Right now it's plus 11 degrees Celsius. I like that. 11 degrees Celsius is awesome. What is that noise? What is that sound? There it is. That's the sound of future fishing and ATV weather. Yeah. Bring it on. So, this morning was a bit of a challenge for me. Thanks for visiting my channel, Off-Grid Living with the Bennetts. Well, this morning was a bit of a challenge for me. I've been dealing with a hydro issue. And it's just been an ongoing thing. Been so frustrating. So I've got a 6,000 watt inverter. It's a brand new inverter. And for some reason or another, I kept losing hydro. So, I don't know. I've been running the generator and just getting frustrated, and basically what my daily routine has been was get up in the morning, turn the generator on, have my coffee and whatever I'm cooking, and then turn the generator off and allow my 2,000 watt inverter with my 305 amp deep cycled batteries and my midnight charge controller run my house for the day. Because basically I'm just dealing with lights and minor hydro usage. So then at lunchtime, I would flip the panel so the batteries would stop being used and the generator would be used again to warm up my soup or whatever I'm having for lunch. And then I'd flip back to the batteries again. And then at supper time, same routine again. Turn the batteries off, turn the generator on, run the microwave, run whatever I need to run. And that's been my routine every day. And if it's cloudy, then I'd leave the generator on for the evening. And then when everything's done, I don't have to do anything, I would then go back to the batteries and maybe catch a movie on TV. And that would be my day. And then hopefully I've got a small fridge, not a really small one, but a smaller fridge. Hopefully it would run through the night on the batteries. So that's been my routine now for 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't know. I've gone through other solar issues I've been dealing with, and I've gradually got them figured out. But I bought a 6,000 watt 4 kg all-in-one charge controller inverter. And like I say, I'd have it running for a little while, and then it would quit on me. I've got it hooked up to 8 6-volt, 420 amp batteries. So it shouldn't be breaking down on me. And I've got that hooked up to 16 290 watt solar panels. But sure enough, it would just keep dying on me, and I just was so frustrated with it. So, yeah, the one day, basically what I did was I turned the TV on, watched it for an hour, had no other hydro in the house running, and sure enough, the inverter would trip. So I got a hold of a fella who's really good with this sort of stuff. And so today, he came over and we spent a couple of hours troubleshooting. Well, I had 2 problems. And so we ended up figuring it out. But here's the first problem. He tested my batteries, which are brand new. And he said, you've only got 11 and a half volts or 11 and a half amps going into your charge controller on a 11 and a half volts going into your inverter charge controller on a 48 volt system. And that's why it keeps tripping. I says to him, I says, how can that be? Like, we tested them all. They should all work. We should be at 48 volts. He says you don't. You only got 11 and a half volts going in. So then he said, hold on, let's check this then. And what he did is he went to the posts on my charge controller, my inverter, right on the posts. And I had 11 and a half. So what he did is he got his tester, and I should have known better. I should have figured this out myself. He went down the wires just a couple inches away from my inverter. 48 volts. Okay, so now it's making sense to me. He said, those 1/2-inch nuts on the inverter aren't tight enough. I said to him, I said, well, I tightened them up really tight. He says they're not tight enough. So I got my socket wrench and I proceeded to tighten them a little bit more. And I know the book says to tighten them to a certain foot-pound or whatever the book said. But I was afraid of breaking those nuts. I mean, I was self-employed for 35 years and I had equipment, and I'll tell you right now, there is a lot of broken bolts that we had to fight to get back out again. Like, over the years, over 35 years, I busted a lot of bolts, because you get to the point and you say, okay, I'm going to just give that a little tiny little touch more. Snap. Well, I've got a $2,000 plus, probably $2,500 inverter there. I thought, I don't want to snap a nut in here, so I tightened it up fairly tight. But what happened was the cables going up to it are going onto a 1/2-inch stud, and the cables on my battery cables are probably more like a 9/16 to a 3/4 inch hole. So it's kind of sloppy in there. Anyways, I tightened it up as much as I could until I got to the point where I was afraid I was going to break it. Anyways, he said to me, he says, nope, grab your wrench, tighten her up some more. So I tightened her up some more, and I put quite a few little turns on it. I says, there we go. He says, no, tighten it more. And it's like, oh man, I don't want to snap those nuts. That'll be the worst thing ever. I says, here, you tighten it up. You know how tight it should be. You tighten it yourself. If you snap a nut, I'm not going to hold it against you, but you tighten it. Well, my goodness, he put like 4 or 5 more cranks on those nuts. Sure enough, he put the tester on the cables, 50 point something volts. He put the tester on those nuts, 50.6 volts, whatever it was. Turned that thing on. She was running beautiful. He says, let's test her out. Let's see what we got here for power. Start turning on some of your stuff. Okay. Turning on lights, turning on fans, turning on kettle, turning a bunch of stuff on. Turn on a microwave. All of a sudden, poof, power goes out. I thought we had it fixed. Obviously we didn't. I think we had most of it fixed, but there's still something wrong. Checked her all over, tested her again, playing around with her. Let's do it again. Start turning your stuff on. Turn on lights, turn on fan, turn on toaster, turn on the kettle. Poof. What's with that? Okay. Let's try her again. Plugged in the kettle, plugged in the kettle, turned on the microwave, poof. That's weird. Haven't even hardly got going yet, and we've already blown the power. Let's turn the microwave on by itself. Poof. Ah. There you go. So, I had a microwave. Somebody gave me another microwave. The second microwave, I kind of liked it. It was white. First one was silver, but I liked the white one, so I put the white one in the house, which was a used microwave. I got my silver one that worked perfect, and I gave it away. What the problem is that microwave that someone has given me is basically sucking too much power. There's something wrong with it. So, let's leave the microwave off. Let's start turning stuff on again. Toaster oven turned on. Kettle turned on. Toaster turned on. Hot plate turned on. Vacuum on. Ceiling fan. Fan in the bathroom. Lights. All the lights. Everything. Refrigerator. The whole works. Everything works fine. Working beautiful. Turn all that stuff off and turn on a microwave. Poof. Obviously, there's something wrong with that microwave. I says to him, I says, thank you so much for helping me out. I appreciated that so much. Here's $100. He says, no, I don't want your money. I just enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the challenge. I'm not going to take your money. I says, come on, take it. He says, no, I don't want it. I says, I'm going to throw it in the garbage if you don't take it. He says, throw it in the garbage then. We're fooling around, eh? So, he says, $100, that'll get you a good part of a microwave if you go to Canadian Tire. Yeah, he's right. Okay, so, I owe you a favor. You need some help at your house? You call Jim. I'll be over to help you. Aggravating for weeks. weeks of aggravation trying to figure this out. And how much money did I spend on gas for my generator? Quite a bit. It turns out I kept turning it off when I'm not using it to try to save on fuel. But basically the deal is that microwave is done. I'm going to get that microwave. I'm going to cut that cord off. You always need a cord. And I'm going to give that thing the heave. It's going out the door. So today was an awesome day because the camera won't stay up where it's supposed to stay up. Today was a bumpy road. I got a whole bunch of water in the back. So today was an awesome day because I know now I'm saving money on fuel. I know now that I don't have to worry about the fridge shutting off at 5 or 6 in the morning because it's down on battery power. So yeah, today was an awesome day. So what I'm going to do, and here's my advice to you guys. And this was advice that was given to me, and I think it's awesome advice. Go on to Amazon, and you can buy a thing that you plug in the wall, and then you plug your appliance into that, and it'll tell you how many amps you're using. It'll let you know. It'll let you know if you're drawing too much power. I obviously was drawing a lot of power from this microwave. And maybe not just drawing power, but maybe it was shorting out somehow and causing me problems that way. Buy one of these things from Amazon. I'm going to buy one. I'm going to go online. I'm going to be ordering that thing right away. And when you get that thing and you can plug it in the wall, plug your appliance into it, or your whatever you've got, and it'll tell you right off the bat how much power you're using. Because if you've got an old microwave, especially a microwave, if you got an old microwave and that thing is sucking power, if you're on the grid, it's costing you money. And if you're off grid, it's taking your hydro on you. Hydro that you can be using for your fridge or for your toaster or for whatever else you've got. You're trying to save on power coming from your solar panels and keep those batteries charged up, and meanwhile it's being wasted on something that's sucking too much power out of your house. Buy one of these things on Amazon, check it out, put it in your place, and start checking your appliances and stuff. Find out how much power these things are taking. Because obviously there's something wrong with my microwave. Because if I can turn on a toaster oven, a toaster, a hot plate, a kettle, a ceiling fan, a bathroom fan, all my lights in the house, and a vacuum without blowing the breaker, and all I gotta do is plug in a microwave and it blows. I know microwaves do take more power, but they don't take more power than all that stuff put together. So that's my advice to you guys. Buy one of these things. I don't know what they're called, but you can Google it. You can find it out. Anyways, subscribe to my channel. And as I live the off-grid experience and I figure out what I'm doing and what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and all my mistakes, then hopefully I can share them with you, and they will help you in your off-grid experience. Or if you're thinking about going off-grid, they'll help you with planning your off-grid plans. So subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Have a safe day.